Hey now, everybody. It's the Rob from 106.1 KISS FM and 103 GBF. Here with your tag team partner and mine, the human highlight reel. Here is Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
Good morning, Rob. And before we jump into SmackDown, may I please say that after our conversation yesterday, after reading all the comments on the post show, I am more convinced than ever that The Undertaker will be the American Badass when he comes out for WrestleMania.
Dude, I'll take that bet.
I'm ready to bet. I'm ready to lock in for a little while, a temporary lock-in on it. I feel good about it.
This is one where I hope I'm not just voting with my heart, because I loathe the American Badass phase of Undertaker's career. I really do not want to see that. It kind of makes sense when you look at all the pieces, when you look at Kid Rock being there, when you look at all of it and the way they're booking this and the way that Cena cut his promo, doesn't it seem like I am going to see the American Badass at WrestleMania? Thank you for cutting that real quick there.
Not allowed to sing.
My thought is remaining the same. I don't think it is a crazy thought, but I think it will not happen.
You did yesterday think that I was crazy for saying that.
No, I had not heard that. I go back. I said it's not crazy. I think I even said it's not crazy, but I don't think it's going to happen. I know that people are agreeing with you. I'm taking a hard no on this one, guys. I'm taking a hard no.
Hard no. Rob says no. Nope.
It can't.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
This can't happen.
I get to see you sitting on your couch the night of WrestleMania. No.
I'm going a hard no. That's just I'm sticking with it.
Will it, if it happens, will it ruin it for you? Would you feel like, you just spoiled WrestleMania?
I mean, it would definitely ruin that match for me. I really don't like that character. That whole phase of his career, I think, is so terrible. And I don't like how much it diverts from the character that they've accustomed us to seeing from him. I really hate that phase of his career.
Although I'll say this, I just to annoy you, I found a GIF of him and Kurt Angle when Kurt Angle was the biker.
Oh, that was awesome.
And that made me laugh. So it made me laugh. Yeah, because I know you hate American Badass.
Oh, but I love Kurt Angle, and that made me laugh out loud, sincerely.
You're right, and I went back and I watched the video of that, and I watched a little bit of. God, Kurt Angle really was amazingly funny and good, and he's not anymore, but he was.
Dude, I just watched his 3 DVD set last weekend. Everything is gold. It's crazy. It's just crazy. So, well,
so that's to go with yesterday. Now we can jump into SmackDown if you'd like.
Sorry, I got something in my teeth and it's driving me crazy.
All right.
So let's get into SmackDown. Did you ever catch last week's? Last week's was pretty solid.
No, I didn't even. I decided I'm not even going to bother trying to catch up with anything. Like I saw Fastlane, it recapped everything I needed to know. I'm done with the lead up to Fastlane. I am ready for WrestleMania. I'm only eyes forward. And thankfully, it seems like SmackDown's eyes forward now, too.
Yeah, so SmackDown, I thought, was not quite as good as last week, but still better than every other episode leading up to Fastlane.
And not as good as Raw. I'll just go ahead and say that right now.
Agreed. Yeah, Raw was the better show this week.
Sure.
But there were some things I liked about SmackDown. Where should we get started? Well, why don't we start with what's the big thing, I feel like, and what this episode is titled. Shane McMahon made some major announcements pertaining to WrestleMania. I never thought, I saw the rumors myself, and Mike brought it up on the post show. I never, ever thought Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were going to wind up in that battle royal. I couldn't see that happening. And I'm glad that they made that match last night on SmackDown. WrestleMania, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, although it would not surprise me if Shane McMahon gets added to that match.
Yeah, they want a place for Shane, and this seems like the place to do it, especially after the uncomfortably brutal beating he took last night. That was fun to watch, especially for someone that doesn't really enjoy seeing Shane on TV right now. The problem I think that WWE is running into is that Shane McMahon is not a sympathetic character. He's not somebody that anyone like. If you take a babyface, like let's say you could do that to Daniel Bryan. If they had done that to Daniel Bryan, people would have been like slack-jawed and upset. But beating up Shane McMahon, dude has it coming. The dude had a beating coming.
Yes and no. I do think it came off as like a babyface beatdown, but it did. I don't know. It did come off really well. Uncomfortable, maybe, but yeah, it was brutal to say the least. And it's something that Kevin Owens does very well. I mean, he did it to his dad. It was very memorable. And now to Shane, it was a memorable segment, I feel like. I
love it. I love this Kevin Owens. And you can't get this Kevin Owens if you don't have the funny, goofy Kevin Owens, which I totally appreciate. But when he turns that switch and gets vicious, I think there's nobody better.
Yeah, and when it comes to these long running storylines, I think that Kevin is so good at executing these. So that's the way I feel about that. The segment came off really, really well. Story driven, getting us to our destination. That's all we've wanted from the TV here lately, because WrestleMania has been so many question marks, and now we're getting exclamation points, and that's good.
And Sami Zayn is looking better than he has in a long time. I think he's more over than he has been. He's legitimate now.
That's the thing is when I believe even on the show we were talking about Sami Zayn possibly coming out of this angle with Owens as a real superstar, which I don't think he went in as. I mean, he went in as, a WWE superstar, but he wasn't in the league of a Kevin Owens and an AJ Styles, and he's going to come out of it as a star, right?
Right. Well, here's what I think happens in the world of professional wrestling when it comes to WWE and NXT. I think that if you become a gigantic star in Ring of Honor or in any indie promotion, you're big deal there, and you go to NXT, you are already a foregone conclusion going to be a superstar because you were huge there, so you're big in NXT. That tends to happen and tends to translate.
I agree.
However, being a huge star in NXT does not mean it's a foregone conclusion that when you enter the main roster, you will be that star.
That is also true.
It doesn't work that way. So Sammy was an indie darling. He goes to NXT. He is top of the top, cream of the crop, putting on 5-star maybe matches against people, and he's doing a great job, and he's as over as you can get in NXT. Comes to the WWE, sorry, dude, you don't look the part. You've got to do a little extra to be the superstar you were in NXT. Well, yeah, and that happens to a lot of people.
I think a lot of people lose. I think the disconnect happens with Sammy in his, I don't even know if it's his size or his look, but it's his voice and his delivery of his promos to me. It's not always what he says, it's how he says it. I love how he does that, actually. Well, I'm kind of getting there, and I feel like he's kind of grown with this heel persona with Kevin Owens, but I feel like that has been the disconnect. He didn't offer anything as a character before Kevin Owens.
Right.
And we kind of got him to where we need to get him to. Plus, it's one of the more interesting matches at WrestleMania, which is why I think that Kevin Owens has been kind of the star maker here, has been the king of the long-running angles, and that's what I love. I don't want to say we love it because I don't want to speak for everybody, but I know you and I love the long-running angles. We like stuff that takes 9 months to play out.
Yeah, absolutely. I just hope that Kevin Owens gets the WrestleMania match or is able to put on the WrestleMania match that he's capable of putting on.
I hope that he walks to the back after having a match with Sami Zayn, asks Vince how he did, and Vince just kicks him in the nuts.
He basically did last year, didn't he?
I'll tell you, that's one of my favorite stories to kind of come out of last year was, I will never forget my reaction to watching that and just how cold McMahon was, and probably a little unnecessarily, and how relatable that felt to me as, a different kind of performer that's just been kicked in the nuts before. And it's like, man, I feel for Kevin's nuts. I just feel for them.
He got slapped right in them. That's for sure.
I mean, can you relate to that? Because I feel like I can.
Absolutely. You put everything out on the line for somebody or for your craft and to impress somebody. Vince McMahon's acknowledgement and approval is so important to those wrestlers. It really is, because it's almost like getting the seal of approval from the wrestling gods themselves. And you're on the granddaddy of them all, the biggest stage of them all, whatever stupid thing they want to call it this week. You're on that. You come back, and he tells you, no, you didn't do a good job.
Yeah.
That's a heartbreaker.
I've been at the end of what I thought was a killer broadcast, a killer show. And, I can't wait to hear what people thought about it when I walk out of the studio. And then you get called into a closed door meeting where they just berate you and tell you why you suck.
Hammer you. You present them with something you're super proud of.
Yeah.
Something that touched you and moved you, that you did and created and helped do, and you show it to them, and all they say to you is, that was about 45 seconds too long. I wanted to cry that day. Dude, it happened.
I understand. And that's completely frustrating. And watching that happen to Kevin was just like, my heart broke for him. And I mean, you don't need to be in radio to relate to this story. I'm sure you probably have been there before, or it's just, it's just so thankless. And it's just like, you took so much pride in something and it meant less than nothing to people. It's so frustrating. So yeah, I like where this angle's going. I like that it doesn't look like they're going to wind up in the Battle Royal. And I was really certain that they weren't going to wind up in the Battle Royal when Kevin Owens tweeted a nice joke about it. Did you see that?
I missed that. I missed the tweet. What did it say? So
the rumor was going around that Mike had caught wind of, that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were going to wind up in the Battle Royal, which I thought was crazy. Not impossible, just didn't seem right to me.
Just a waste.
So Kevin had a screenshot of an old Andre Battle Royal, shared that with the caption, something along the lines of,
oh, I did see that.
Just watching some tape to get ready for WrestleMania.
Watching some tape. And I didn't know what that meant, really. I saw that, but I didn't understand the joke.
I mean, you know how like NFL teams will watch tape on other teams to get ready for a football game?
I know that, but I didn't know why he was watching the Battle Royal, because I didn't hear that rumor.
Because the rumor was going around that they were going to wind up in the Battle Royal.
You son of a gun. I know why teams watch tape.
I didn't know what you meant. You said you didn't get it. I didn't know which part you didn't get.
GD.
Listen, I'm a sports fan, dude. I get the sports references. I make the sports references, and sometimes I need to explain them to you, and I understand.
That's rich.
My friends call me Rob Sports Hirschbuel.
Yeah, sports guy.
Sports guy. Listen, dude, I'm a Philadelphia guy. My Eagles won the Super Bowl.
Oh, God darn it.
What? I'm a big sports is pretty much my number one. It's like wrestling and real sports. It's like it depends on the day. You eat, sleep, and breathe it, right? Yeah. So when these teams are trying to get ready to take on other teams, you can learn a lot by watching what they've done in previous games.
Oh, okay. That's called watching tape? Is that what that is?
Yeah, and it's I mean, you can only do so much with your body. Your brain needs to be in the game as well. I mean, you need to be able to throw and catch and tackle and recover a fumble and stuff like that. But you also need to know what to expect from your opponent.
You're a son of a bitch. Now I'm cutting a Roman Reigns promo.
I want to give them, yeah, nice. Can I give them another piece of praise before we go on?
Yeah.
I thought the booking of the Bludgeon Brothers was well done and unique last night.
Okay. I agree. I love everything that involves them right now. Them and the Usos.
I can't really think of an example in history, at least in WWE history, where it's like and I don't mean the strange bedfellows thing. Like, I know that the Usos and the New Day had fought on Sunday, and I know that you've had strange bedfellows matches before. But what I mean is, it's never been like out of necessity where like, okay, all of our partners got beaten to a bloody pulp this weekend that they're unable to perform. We need to unite forces and get retribution. And I've just never seen an angle like that play out that I can remember, at least in WWE.
Right. This team has hurt so many of us that we kind of have to join forces. I do love that.
Yeah, I just loved the excuse to get those two together, Big E and whichever Uso it was. And that really worked for me. Plus, it was booked the right way. They got their asses handed to them.
I like serious Big E, too. I like his promos when he's intense.
I can't even begin to tell you how. Listen, when we were talking about this, and I remember Mike on the post show was talking about how this has the potential to be really good. And I was kind of disregarding it because I thought they would be written into oblivion. And I feel like for a while I had the right to think that, but these past few weeks, A+ writing to protect and to grow the Bludgeon Brothers.
Yeah, they're protecting them and the other teams as well. They're not. The Usos and New Day are getting bludgeoned, pun intended, without getting buried, and so it's working for everybody.
Absolutely, and it also, now that you look back on it, I was a little upset. I don't know how much of last week's shows you watched, but I was a little upset because I remembered that the Usos and the New Day were not supposed to. The New Day was not supposed to get a title match from the Usos, I believe, ever again.
Right.
That was a stipulation from Hell in a Cell, but like. I was like, why did we break that? Did we just forget stuff? And I guess we do, but we needed that match to happen to get us to the Bludgeon Brothers.
Absolutely. And I don't know about you, but I kind of mark out over their music. Like, I love their entrance.
You know, I want to talk about this sometime in the future too, because while I was the guy who cried about Jim Johnston leaving the company, it's really worth noting that I think you pronounce it the CFOs. I'm not positive. It's CFO $ is how you spell it out.
Sure.
Man, it's really worth noting they do a really good job of not just making really memorable theme songs, but theme songs that kind of really capture the essence in a way that I only thought Jim Johnston could.
Well, I think Jim, correct me if I'm wrong here, because I don't know the timeline of exactly when Johnston was getting phased out even before he was let go. But there were a lot of whiffs. Do you remember that? Like Big Cass had 3 different entrance themes in a row. Like, they couldn't get it right. They were screwing around. They messed with what's his face, Kurt Angle's kid,
Jason Jordan.
They screwed his up. His got screwed up too. Like, they were just trying all these entrance themes that weren't working anymore. And then all of a sudden, Jim Johnston goes, and now it's starting to work again.
I mean, and we can get into this more in like maybe a topic for next year or something, but I was reading a list of what themes they had done. And because I kind of had a negative outlook on them, but only because they're not Jim Johnston and they didn't write the 90s themes that I loved. But when I looked at the work that they had done, I was like, oh my God, I should not be upset with this replacement because Jim Johnston may have been getting out of touch. I don't know for sure. I'm not accusing him of anything, but he was the granddaddy of this, and he was so good. Like, if I could give him a grade, at least in his heyday, he was a 10 out of 10. He is an A+ employee.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no arguing that.
But I think that if we have to replace him, they did a pretty good job with CFOs, and please correct me if I'm mispronouncing their name, but that's what I think it is.
I think that's how you do it. And I'm looking at the list of some of them. They did Enzo and Cass.
Yeah, Soft as a Sin.
They did Glorious, right?
Glorious, Nakamura, Sasha Banks, Naomi. I mean, the Bludgeon Brother, like the work is undeniable.
They're killing it. I mean, they're absolutely killing it. They even did NXT's theme, which everybody likes.
Yeah, and an old Raw theme. And I mean, there's some really good stuff that I'm like, maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was.
Right.
The worst era of theme music kind of came around, I'll say like 04, 05-ish up through. Like, what I really hated was when they started using theme songs with words, like Orton's, like when Edge had that Alter Bridge song. Right. They all just blended together to me in a time that was just like, man, every entrance theme is sucking a big dong.
And they're also responsible for the one entrance theme that gets me fired up to see a fight every single time.
Is it Owens?
It's Kevin Owens.
It's one of my favorite themes in years. I love that. You know, I think they're so good at it. Which, by the way, you may or may not be walking into our wedding reception with that song.
Yes, I will. Listen, I would wear a KO shirt with the sleeves cut off.
You might not have a choice. I might need that. Would you be cool with that?
With what? Walking into Kevin Owens?
Yeah.
With dressed as him? Absolutely.
Well, I don't know. Brittany might not go for the dressed as him part, but I've got her on the ropes for wrestler theme entrances.
So everybody gets a wrestler theme entrance. I'd be interested to know who everybody gets.
Yeah. So, and that's for some reason I can't get past that for you.
I think that's a great one.
So
if you want me to keep my shirt on, if you play the Ultimate Warriors theme song, I'm gonna wreck stuff. I'm gonna just destroy everything.
All right. So we're up in the air about that. Hopefully Brittany's not watching this because I might make an audible here. By the way, I told this story on the air last week or the week before. I forgot to tell you about this, of your best man dipping his balls in the chocolate fountain at your wedding.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then I don't know.
Are you getting a chocolate fountain?
Not that I know of.
Someone's going to stick their balls in it, dude.
I think we might be looking at them. Look, if someone's got to do it.
Someone's going to stick their balls in this chocolate fountain, dude. Somebody's going to do it.
Wasn't like your AOL screen name or your PlayStation name like some variation of the word ball dropper?
Ball dropper. It is. Yeah.
So, I mean, if we had to point the finger at somebody. So, anything else from SmackDown really noteworthy? I mean, Shane also mentioned he's going to be leaving indefinitely.
Yeah, Asuka showing up for the first time. That was okay.
Yeah, for some reason that didn't really do much for me because we had just seen her Sunday and Monday. I guess on Tuesday it didn't impact me the way it did the previous two nights.
I'm excited for AJ Styles moving on with Nakamura. That's good. I liked seeing Rusev come out. Rusev did a great job again.
And they're denying one of their biggest potential heels right now.
I feel like Rusev is this is a weird thing. I'm not going to lock in on it because it's a weird prediction and you don't even know if he'll end up in it. But I think Rusev could win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Certainly makes sense.
He'd be a good choice for it because God, could you give the fans a little bit what they want? They want this guy. They want this guy more than we did when we were getting him all the time.
I think if I had to bet right now, I would take you on that bet, but let's save it for the predictions episode.
Save it for the predictions. Other than that, I don't know. SmackDown was okay.
So I had a story about the Toxic Turtles.
Oh, let's hear the Toxic Turtles. Let's hear it. Yes.
I was watching a DVD this weekend that I really recommend. It's called WWE Unreleased 85 to 96. It's all never before seen matches. I think all of them are dark matches from 86 to 95.
That would be the Toxic Turtles, right?
Well,
Dwayne Gill and...
Oh, I don't even know who they were. Who are they?
Oh, it was Gilbert was one of the Toxic Turtles.
That makes sense.
I'll pull it up while you tell the story.
So it's a little dry because there's no commentary on any of these matches, but it's also hosted by Charlie Caruso and Sean Mooney, which seeing Sean Mooney in 2017 is like a real joy because he's been removed from wrestling for so long. But they're all unreleased matches, and at least according to the commentary, the Toxic Turtles only had one match, and if that is the case, I have seen it. And it is a thing of real beauty if you like wrestle crap. I mean, so their costumes are so incredibly low budget by WWE standards. I mean, they're dressed like kids on Halloween. Like, it's so chintzy.
They're Halloween costumes. By the way, it's Dwayne Gill and Barry Hardy.
Barry Hardy?
Yeah.
All right, well, Dwayne Gill certainly fits the turtle motif But there are some things. It's such a ripoff of the Ninja Turtles, and then it's like Terry and Todd, the Toxic Turtles from Terrytown, Texas. It's so ridiculous. And there's a spot, I don't know if we covered this or not on a previous episode. One of them falls on their back. They take a back bump, and they make like they can't get up because it's a turtle on his shell. So the other guy has to run in and pull him off of his back because he can't get up because he's a turtle, you see? You tip a turtle on its back, he's not going to get up. He's stuck that way.
What I love is that the Toxic Turtles, Dwayne Gill and Barry Hardy, who were the Executioners, are now the Toxic Turtles. They weren't booked as the jobbers in this match. The jobbers were Tommy Stevenson and Ron Preston.
Correct. So I guess there is only one match.
I'm looking at it right now. It's the WrestleCraps Hall of Fame. It says the Toxic Turtles, Hell in a Shell.
Well, on that note, nice one, RD. I love RD and his WrestleCraps site. I've been on it once.
Really?
Yeah. For a while, when you Googled my name, the first thing that came up was my contribution because I sent him video. I had picked up this weird Phil Collins DVD. Don't ask me why. I've always had a guilty pleasure spot for Phil Collins.
Don't be guilty, man. That dude's a genius.
Agreed. And one of the bonus features on this DVD that I bought was an NBC special about Phil Collins. And it was all these celebrities interacting with Phil Collins in over-the-top ways. And one of the things he does is for the song Two Hearts, he wrestles the Ultimate Warrior. So, and it got picked up by WrestleCrap. It got picked up by VH1 for Best Week Ever. And I was the guy who unearthed it. And RD gave me credit in his write-up about it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so I sent him screenshots and a video that he used all of. And I was very proud of myself. And like I said, for a while, when you Googled my name before I had really made a big splash in radio, it was the big splash. I'm a toxic freaking turtle.
I can't get up. I can't get off my shelf.
Guys, I just did a great show. Oh no, now I'm on my back. I'm in an air check meeting. Someone pick me up.
Somebody help me.
I went 45 seconds too long. Oh my God.
Oh my God. I didn't post enough videos this week. Oh my God. Get me up.
Jer, I love doing the show with you, man. Thank you for your contributions. And next week, maybe we'll talk about theme music as a topic next week. Or maybe we'll talk about turtles. What?
I was going to say, what's tomorrow's topic going to be?
We'll see you Tuesday for Toxic Turtle Tuesday right here on 103gbfrocks.com.
Can't get up.
I went 45 seconds too long.
Oh my God.
I forgot to give the phone number. I didn't give the listeners a reason.
Time.